Java.
Hi.
Coming to attend the 4th annual Hate to Hope marching rally. I think us being here is setting an example that hate in Alberta will not be tolerated. And we have a lot of amazing speakers. Okay, our first speaker today will be Michael Connolly. Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous, so now that I'm nervous, it's going to be rambling. Yeah, our first speaker. Okay, here we go.
Thank you all for coming, and thank you to Chevy Rapid and Meet Hope for inviting me to address you all today. As Chevy said, my name is Michael Connolly, and I'm honored to be the MLA for Calgary-Hawkwood. I'm also happy to say that along with Estefania Cortez-Vargas and Ricardo Miranda, I'm one of the first 3 openly LGBTQ+ MLAs in Alberta's history. And on behalf of the government of Alberta and Free Rights and all that, thank you all for coming today. I was born and raised in Calgary, and I have seen firsthand how heteronormativity and forced gender roles influence our youth in and out of our schools. When teachers are not allowed to speak of LGBTQ+ issues, as was the law until earlier this year, LGBTQ+ youth tend to feel as though we're not normal, or that we're not always welcome in our schools, our communities, and worst of all, our homes. As I went through junior high and high school, I didn't notice how much of an effect our education system had on my coming out. I remember our teachers never mentioning homosexuality or homosexuals for that matter in any classroom. And if a student mentioned it, they would often be ridiculed and have their sexuality questioned. Worse still, trans issues would not even get a snide comment from neither students nor educators. And for what I'm hearing from our youth and educators in those institutions even today, not much has changed. The debates around Bill 10 this year and Bill 44 in 2009 are only a couple of many reasons that spurred me to run as the MLA for Calgary-Hawkwood. Since May 5th, I have met with many individuals in the LGBTQ+ community, and almost everyone has made me promise that I will help represent them, because they feel like they have never had a voice in our legislature. We have never had someone who truly understands what it's like to keep a secret from their friends and family for years. We've never had someone who knows what it's like to be afraid to hold their partner's hand in public. And we've never had someone who felt the fear every day of being kicked out of their home or fired just for being who they are. Until now. I'm here today to promise every single LGBTQ+ youth in this province that I will do everything in my power to ensure that no one in Alberta feels like they are not welcome in our schools or communities because of their gender identity or their sexual orientation. This is why events like Hate to Hope are important. The LGBTQ+ community has seen many gains very quickly, but we must not be complacent. We need to continue to fight oppression so that generations of LGBTQ+ people will have it better than we did, or have now. Opening the first 3 openly LGBTQ+ MLAs is an important step, but is by no means the be-all end-all of LGBTQ+ rights in this province. Estefania, Ricardo, and I are not only voices for our Rising Legislative Assembly, we now have the duty and the honor of representing our community in the legislature. We will fight for the full inclusion, human rights, and safety of sexual and gender minority Albertans from all walks of life. We are stronger when we work together, and we are proud to have the opportunity of representing our community in Alberta's legislature and work towards a more inclusive and equitable Alberta. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael, for your wonderful speech. Our next speaker will be Vivian Abboud.
Thank you, Chevy. I stand here today very humbled to speak about human rights. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Chevy for his dedicated work that has brought us to this point. My name is Vivian Abboud, and I have been in Edmonton and Canada for 20 years. While growing up, I have experienced and watched violence and hatred. Many ordinary citizens were treated as second class. Some were detained and abducted for no reason. They had no voice and they had no human rights because of their religious, political beliefs, their skin color, and sexual orientation. More than 2.7 billion people live in countries where being who you are is punishable by imprisonment or even death. Still to this day, I hear an everyday horror story. Heroes losing their lives in the line of duty. Every day, challenges that can deny you your livelihood and sometimes also put your life and liberty at risk. Many victims of violence and bullying, and it just breaks my heart and also makes me very angry because nothing is getting done to change that situation, and ordinary citizens have no voice. Freedom, whether academic or religious or press, are under attack. Many individuals continue to be persecuted globally and experience bullying and discrimination in our community. Today, after more than 6 decades of the proclamation of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, there are many who do not enjoy freedom of speech and believe in freedom from fear. Also, it makes me very grateful to be here in Edmonton, where I have a voice, and it's with this great pride that I joined Edmontonians to be united in the face of hatred and discrimination. I will never take this for granted, the human rights that I once never had, and I choose not to be standing on the sidelines, but rather play an active role in protecting and nurturing the flame of human rights. As immigrants, we come from all across the globe with different backgrounds, experiences, and it is important not to be assimilated. However, if we have experienced hatred, we should never let it define us, but rather influence us to make the change, and first and foremost, be the change and the role model in our welcoming community. Just like it did to Chevy, this one non-negotiable value that should unite us all is human rights. We have to let go of influence and values that contradict human rights and that we have picked up in our own country because they used to be our only way of survival. As Gandhi said, be the change that you wish to see in the world. I know that many of us, we find ways of leading and making that change, but that should be our collective and continuous effort that as there's still more to be done and to be inclusive. When I first arrived to Canada, right away I noticed the existence of human rights and how every person has the right to have their inherent dignity respected and protected. I also have noticed much progress and I made sure to be involved. However, very gloomy stories such as losing Constable Woodall and Chevy speak to the fact that this progress is not complete. Constable Woodall's death will always remain the living story of fighting against violence and hatred, and that we should remember every day. The hatred and the discrimination that Chevy has experienced, and initiatives such as Hateful will always remind us of how precious human rights are. It allows us to honor the memory of so many innocent individuals who have struggled or lost their lives in the face of crimes and injustice. We cannot be complacent and watch discrimination and bullying. I think what makes Edmonton exceptional is that we struggle to improve. As citizens united, it is the responsibility of each one of us, not only the activists, to continue down the path of a strong and more inclusive society, where every person is respected, and to protect the great gift of human rights, and deliver it to future generations, and to be the change we wish to see in the world. Thank you.